Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, 2019. And this is the start of a new Pyanodon's playthrough today. So if you are watching the VOD on YouTube, it is of vital importance to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to help make this series appear higher up in the YouTube search results. You can also head on over to twitch.tv/OtakuShowboat to leave a follow to be notified when I go live on Sundays and Tuesdays at the moment for this particular save file. If you would like to join me live, I also stream something else on Thursdays at the same time. You can help support Pyanodon's mods development at patreon.com/Pyanodon, and myself at patreon.com/OtakuShowboat, and you can, of course, do all the other social stuff through the links in the description below this video. So, today we are starting up with the new base. This base is going to be on the rails, so this series, as opposed to the last series was off the rails, which was all about not building trains, as well as doing things in non-intended ways. So doing things a little bit off the rails. This time, things are going to be a bit different in that I'm going to be building my base. I'm going to be building my base on a map that is designed for using trains. So this particular map is going to be, there's going to be a much wider gap between resources as compared to the last map. However, the resources are going to be a lot denser than in the previous map. So we're not going to be using standard RSO settings this time. Standard settings ended up giving me, like, everything I needed within reasonable distances, at least for me. So I'm going to absolutely have much greater distances between the stuff. Now, one point of housekeeping before bringing up the game and going into all the settings and, like, what types of mods we're using for this playthrough. The VODs for this on YouTube are going to be split into approximately 35 to 40-minute videos, just like with the Morrowind playthrough that is currently going on, and those VODs are going to be posted throughout the week. It would be basically 5 videos per stream, so 10 total VOD videos distributed throughout the week. That means that there will be 2 of the Pi videos on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and on Fridays, with everything else being just 1, if I'm not mistaken, if I've gotten that right. So Mondays and Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, 5 and 8 p.m. Eastern, and then Saturday and Sunday at 5. So if I've done my math right, that should be 10 total videos to distribute throughout the week, and that will keep us caught up, essentially, going along. Of course, if you want to watch the whole VODs as they were recorded, they stick around for a couple of weeks on Twitch, so you can watch them there if all the parts have not been uploaded onto YouTube yet, and you want to see the rest of the stream and catch up and maybe, leave a follow and watch live. So let's load up the game. Let's load up the game, switch on over, and get into exactly what we're going to be playing today. I'm really itchy. I don't know why. I'm really itchy today. Today is like an abnormally warm day for this point in the fall, and I think it's a combination of warmer and dry air. I think it's just the dryness of the air making me itchy after taking my shower. Today's coffee, by the way, is still the Death Wish Pumpkin Spice Blend coffee, so that's been working out well for me. I'm going to be drinking the last of the Pumpkin Spice Blend today, and then tomorrow we'll begin with the standard Death Wish brew. Alright, now, as I begin here, I'm going to need to go into here on the rails, and I'm going to need to sync the mods really quick. So this will load up again. And we'll go into the settings and the mods, but as we begin here, the primary things that are of note that are different from the last time is that I am now going to be using Bob's modules for this playthrough, just because, as you may have noticed in the off the rails save, there's some UPS issues when building a base, even at the minimum-ish required output and size to even get non-zero amounts of quantum computing for space science. So just getting to space science and Pyanodon's mods, it just loaded up the save as well. But just getting non-zero space science to begin with, we were under 30 UPS on a bot-based base. So yeah, that was not pleasant. So I will be using Bob's modules with the God modules enabled. I don't think I'm going to use the God modules, it's just that I'm lazy and didn't want to untick the tick box on it when setting things up initially, so there's that. I've also got ultra-fast inserters, ultimate belts with the mod that makes them go even faster. So ultimate belts with the Oashima and Pankeko mod to make them look a little different, as well as increasing their speeds. God modules? Yes, Bob's modules mod up here. Bob's modules includes God modules, not by default, but it gives all three basically bonuses. They give efficiency and productivity and speed all together, and the fifth tier is like minus 100% efficiency for each module. So minus the energy consumption, minus 100, even though it caps at minus 80, and productivity and speed on them. They're insane. So I don't really think I'm going to use them per se, unless I really need to for UPS, basically. Unless I really have to for UPS reasons, I will try to avoid using the God modules, but I will, at the very least, be using the raw speed and productivity and the standard efficiency modules. I don't need the green modules for pollution because we're not going to be using biters in this playthrough. And then, so of note here, we've got actual craft time with Afraid of the Dark. We've got alien biomes. As much as I hate all of the rocks added by alien biomes, we're going to stick with it. We have Big Brother to have upgradable radars. Of course, Bob's modules to help basically with UPS at this point, just to reduce the number of buildings that are required for the output. That's the main thing, is just reducing entity count is the big thing for UPS, and this will help a lot. We have Bot Recaller to help upgrade bots, any bots that I may use along the way. Bottleneck, that gives a little light to indicate if the machines are moving or not. Bulk rail loader to help load and unload. This will be my first time using that. We've got the clock mod from Bob's, set to the most recent version. Crafting speed research, just for handcrafting upgrades. Very valuable in the early game. We have deadlocks loaders. This is primarily, I'm using this for the loaders, not so much for the compactors, the belt boxes. Death markers, because we're going to be using rails. Yeah. Don't lose in progress ingredients, because why would you not have this? Enhanced map colors. Even distribution really helps in the early game. Factorio standard library, just because it's required by a few things. Fluid must flow. This will give big ducts that... I had this for a little bit in the previous playthrough, the off-the-rails playthrough, but never actually got around to using it. I'm hoping that with the greater distances here, that I will force myself to use this. Do bulk loaders work with pie-specific ores? I have no idea. I have no idea how the bulk loaders work. In fact, there's probably a setting to enable it for more things, but we shall see. I've got... we shall see if I end up using them or not, because we're going to get towards the bottom here, where you'll see that I probably won't need them at all, because of one very specific thing. I've got Hell mod. Hell mod I'm not going to use as, like, the full base planner. This is going to be just allow me to put a recipe in with an intended output and show me what the output of the ingredients I need. Like, just show me the output of the ingredients that I need. That's really what this is for. This is more of a reference than a thing that I'm going to use to just straight up plan the base. This is just reference. I prefer doing base planning, like, on paper, not having it straight up told to me in that fashion. So, yeah, this I will only use as reference. Long reach research upgrade, a more balanced means of having long reach capabilities, adds technologies to unlock better ability to do mining at a distance, building at a distance, and all of that. Mining drills Mark II, something that didn't get much use, any use in the previous playthrough because, well, yeah, I decided to not mine things in the previous playthrough, but here I've got mining drills Mark II because we're going to be doing lots of mining, and I need to make the best use of the space of the ore patches as possible. Multi-product recipe details. This is going to be set to the vertical alignment as well. I think, for some reason, this mod, when combined with the Infinity mode mod, causes the game to, like, hitch. But anyway, this lists all the product names in recipe descriptions. All the product names in recipe descriptions. It's very, very useful as quality of life mod. Definitely going to use nanobots. Absolutely, that was the biggest mistake, was not starting with nanobots in the previous playthrough. Nixie tubes, I want to use these more. I really would like to use these more to display numbers on the map, pretty much. Just to have at-a-glance stuff. Productive Pyanodons. I have released this mod. This mod is mine. It is available on the... In mods, it's available. You can download this. This adds productivity to a number of intermediates that do not allow productivity under standard Pyanodon settings. We have the full pie suite as currently exists. Realistic ores basically changes the color of iron and copper and flips them to be a bit more realistic for ores that are exposed to air. Any quick start mod, we'll get to that. We have Renamer, we have RSO, Squeak Through, Stone Water Wells, even though they're not exactly required anymore because now the Pyanodon's pump jacks have a water recipe. This is just more convenient for me. I I'm just used to playing with this now. We have text plates. We have Tiny Start. This is our quick start mod for this particular playthrough. Tiny Start will give you a, quote, tier 0 power armor with a low output reactor. It gives you 20 vanilla construction robots. That's basically what you get, is 20 vanilla construction robots. That's our quick start mod. The whole of our quick start mod, 20 construction bots to do things with, which I would highly recommend this at a minimum because of the, just due to the amount of wood that you need at the start of a Pyanodon's game. You need to chop down a lot of trees, and clear a number of rocks as well. So yeah, that'd be great. We talked about ultimate belts. These go up to like 450 per second items per second on the highest tier of the ultimate belts. This will be gray. It moves so fast that the belt animation looks like it's going backwards. Yeah. Ultra fast inserters. So there aren't actually that many mods outside of Bob's that adds tiered inserters. I was trying to find a mod that adds tier inserters that wasn't like the full combined set of all of Bob's like belts and inserters, and there really just isn't outside of something like this. So ultra fast inserters are exactly that. They are basically instant inserters. So there's that. These will require quite a few resources and like won't be available until after Circuit 2's, so yeah, it's going to be fine. Also, Bob's modules, I won't even be able to use the modules until I get gold. So I won't even be able to have Mark 1 modules from Bob's modules until I get gold anyway. So that inherently, there's balance there because of how long you have to wait. So gold, for reference, that's not going to come until after blue science. Like, we're not going to have a significant amount of gold until purple science, but I'm going to most likely do particle acceleration for an initial supply of gold prior to that, but we shall see. Vehicle snap, because I cannot drive. And what is it really used for? The most important mod, I would say, in this. What is it really used for? So those are the mods. That's the overview of the mods that are being used for this. Now, I guess I need to do a copy. I need to go to play, new game, import map string, even though this is not going to be our actual map string, for our initial settings. So just to go over what these settings are, frequency doesn't really matter because I'm using RSO. Richness does, I think, but like most of this doesn't necessarily matter so much. Size, I think, plays the biggest role here. So basically, turned up size and richness, turning down frequency by quite a lot. Oil sands are pointless. I'm tempted to just completely turn off oil sands, but I will want to not do that. Same with raw coal, because you never know what sort of updates might happen in the very near future. What is the difference between what is it really used for and FNEI? What is it really used for? In my opinion, it has a better UI. Other than that, they are basically identical in their functionality. That they do the same thing, except I think I prefer what is it really used for's UI over FNEI. It makes more intuitive sense to me. So here's our settings for water and trees. Note what I've done here for scale and coverage on the biomes here. What does this do? Well, what this does is, with alien biomes, is it makes the biome sizes much larger. So there's a lot less, like, you don't get small areas with like 4 biomes all mixed together. It makes it look a lot nicer on the map generation. Now, I've changed what this preview looks like because the preview uses a lot of system resources every time it loads. So as we change seed here, you can see there is a lot more uniformity between if I had these at the standard settings. At the standard settings, you'll get lots of different meshes of colors. You get a lot of weirdness on the transitions here. Suggest disabling the water altogether. I could do that because I am using stone water wells. And that would save on having to landfill. But I still think I would want to be able to landfill. Like, that's part of the challenge, is dealing with the water as it spawns. So just setting this back to the original settings here, this just makes these 2 types of climate biomes bigger, which I think I prefer over anything else. Yeah, it's a good way to use stone, but I'm going to have a lot of stone. Trust me when I say I'm going to have a lot of stone for this. I think that looks nice, but once we get into game, we'll see. No enemies and no pollution. No enemies, no pollution. Those are the main things. Now, settings. Not much is different on the startup settings. You see God modules is on. If I touch anything on startup, the game will restart, and that'll muck about everything on the other screen there. All the sliders will go back, so I'm not going to change anything here right now. But yeah, these are the basic settings here. Pi coal processing, change module slot count, double each tier, cough, cough, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I have this setting on. Note that I do not have Tiri's mod that does basically the same thing. I don't know if this will apply to the other buildings at Mark 2 through 4 for Pi Fusion and petroleum handling and everything else. But this does apply, at the very least, to coal processing. Alright, and still no ore preview for RSO. Yeah, RSO does... Alright, King Arthur saying that it does apply to those. Good. That means 8 module slots at Tier 4. At Mark 4 buildings, and 4 at Mark 3, which is useful for UPS and all that good stuff. Now, the map settings. This is what the meat of the thing for RSO in particular. So the size of the generation region, the default value is 7. It says here bigger values will make the resources more sparse. So of course that's part of the idea going into this map, so I've increased it to 8. Very small changes have very big effects, so that's why I've just increased it +1. Starting richness multiplier is times 10, primarily because if it's not higher, the patch size will distribute resources very thinly over the size of the ore patch, meaning I'd have to constantly be moving the mining drills in the early game, and I'd rather not. So the rule that I'm setting here is that once my mall is set up immediately after green science and I start producing rails, I have to transition away from using any of the remaining starting resources from the starting area. So I have to not use the starting area resources after I set up my rail base, basically. And then resource chance. Default here is 0.5. I have decreased it to 0.3. This is just the chance to spawn a resource per region, and the generation region is 8 chunks. Pyanodon, what's this tweak for electric poles that you're talking about to add? What tweak? I've been fine with electric poles. I'm totally okay with the poles using what they use for their ingredients. I don't know what change, the tweak you're talking about there. And then the generation for the biters doesn't matter. We've got remove trees ticked. We've got the oil ticked for the starting area, which is default, and reveal spawned resources. Reveal spawned resources I have on for my own sanity, primarily. When the map generates an ore patch, even if you've not seen it yet, it will reveal it on the map. The full patch will be revealed on the map. And in the course of that revealing, if there's another resource that gets generated very close by, it'll reveal that one as well. And it can chain itself, so we shall see how things go here. We shall see. So that is those settings. I guess I should go to the per player just to at least show here what these settings are as we begin. Starting tiny start. You can change some of these settings here, but this is fine. This will be fine. The only thing, the biggest quote unquote benefit that this is going to give is that it's going to give you Mark II batteries, like 2 Mark II batteries in Tiny Start, but that ultimately that's not going to matter so much. Longer reach on the lines, on the power lines because of the size of the buildings. That's a balance thing. The medium poles are just fine to reach over. Okay, we've got lead. And King, you still need to push the update for the names, the localization, because right now lead says high grade, aluminium says high grade, quartz says high grade. That's going to change soon. So initial ore patches. Let's see. We've got coal here, right next to water. That's nice. We've got the iron and the copper right next to each other, a little bit far away from the coal. That's going to be a slight problem. A little bit of a delay at the start, just because I have to devote more resources to belt to do the initial automation of the smelting of the iron and copper. Yeah, he just needs to push it onto the mod portal. Yeah, that's fine. And it won't break anything, at least it shouldn't. We've got a whole bunch of phosphate, a whole bunch of rare earth, and a little bit of crude oil. A little bit of crude oil here. And a absolutely tiny chromium batch. Wow. Hi, cute little chromium batch. That's not a big patch of chromium, but at least we have chromium in the starting area now, because that makes doing a map like this actually viable. Just for reference, because previously chrome was not included in the starting generation zone, yet it's required for green science because you need chromium to make the heavy oil refinery to make rubber for green science. Looks like we've got a zinc patch close to us, a 1.5G zinc close to us. So that is nice. I wish this was iron to have right next to my starting area, but yeah, I think this is fine. This will be fine, I hope and dream. So just gonna set these down. and start grabbing resources, including any coal I can find. Start grabbing trees as well. This initial burner phase of the game is probably going to take us the whole of the stream. We will be very lucky if we get to the red science automation today. Just gonna throw that out there. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get through red science automation today. We shall see. Anyway. Oop. Make sure that alt mode is on. Now, for reference, it's 3 drills per furnace. It's 3 drills per furnace. Let's see, where's trees? Trees are there. So as we're waiting, I will of course be destroying trees as I find them. This is why I started with tiny start, because we're going to need several thousand units of trees. Alright, come on dudes, deliver to me. Thank you kindly. Several thousand units of wood, because not only do we need wood for the red science handcrafting that we need to start with, but you also need wood for circuit boards, which, yeah, that's going to consume a lot of wood. A lot of wood. Kill these trees. Wow, none of these have coal. Interesting. And I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit by just walking over the coal as it falls onto the ground. Let's see, what else? We've got more stuffs. Ooh, lots of coal. Right down by the quartz. Right down by the quartz. Cool. Nice to see a sizable quartz patch. That is always nifty at the start of the game. So I should talk about the goal of this base outside of being a rail base. It is to get 1 science per second of all of the science packs at minimum, aka 60 science per minute, or SPM. Now, that may not seem like a lot. Like, ooh, 1 whole unit per second of space science. That doesn't sound like much. It is. It is a bit much. So much that it ends up being like several hundred units of silver per second. Just as an example, several hundred units of silver per second. In fact, this is a great time to show off adding recipes in Hellmod. If I can find which tab has... Oh, is it not going to... Show hidden and disabled. There we go. There we go. That's what I want to see. You. So this thing... 1 per second. 1 per second. Yeah, if you've played Pi, you know the, just how crazy it is even for 1 science per second. And Immortal Sniper just did a base that did 5, but it wasn't fully up to date, with all of the mods. So, these things here, we've got 0.4s. Alright, well, what's used to make each of these things, huh? What makes each of these things? Let's ignore the helium for now, because that adds its own set of complexities. Well, ooh, biopolymer. A number of these things are used for biopolymers, so, well, what about... Let's see here, we've got... Bose-Einstein. Oh, that uses stuff, and things. These and these use things, including that. and that. Ooh, collagen. Oh hey, look, it's glorious collagen. It's even more of this, by the way. Let's see. How are we looking here? So 4.7 biopolymer. Huh. I've actually got this in notes, by the way. So if I can find my notes, did I keep those notes? Did I not keep those notes? Uh-oh. That would be sad. Why would I not keep those notes? Those are good notes. Those are really good notes. Uh-oh. Oh well. Well, it doesn't matter. It's my point is, in total for like the 1 per second between space science and utility science and circuits, like the amount of biopolymer, if I go back and if I add here, again, pointing out that we're doing this for reference purposes only, using Hellmod. If I do biopolymer, it ends up being like over 35 per second required for this, which, holy crap. Exhibit A, holy crap, 25 collagen per second. I built a base that did 10. Before I nerfed it down and reduced its size. Like, okay. And then the silver foam. So, the silver foam, 250 silver per second without productivity. 250 silver plates. Like, excuse me? 125 zinc, just, casually. And another, like, 2,500 hydrogen peroxide. Like, okay. So that's the 250 on the nickel, and then the, excuse me, anthra. Ah, there. Anthra. Like, another 200 chromium. Yay! Yay! The things that we have to look forward to. The things that we have to look forward to when it comes to the biopolymer in the end. That's like the biggest thing, by the way. It's just the raw inputs for the biopolymer. But what we're going to start off with is looking at the red science. Now, the red science, we need more than one. We need actually precisely 1.7 per second of the red science in total. The reason for that is that red science gets used directly in purple science as well. So in order to get one purple science, it ends up being about 0.7. And this is without productivity taken into account. All the math has to be redone once I am doing productivity and all that good stuff. So yeah, this is going to end up being a fair bit of glass. The biggest thing here is the glass. 11.4 glass per second to fit 1.7. But we're not going to build at that scale from the very beginning. Also, if it seems like I'm not doing much right now, there's good reason. There is good reason. It's because we are going to be waiting a lot. No, please stop. We're going to be waiting a lot at the beginning here because we need both iron and copper before we can make our first burner drill. We have enough on the iron now. We just need copper. So now we have to wait for copper to happen. Yay, waiting. In the meantime, just give me all of this, please. All of that. That'd be great. Even the stone. Even the regular stone. Because I need these. Plenty of these.